Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2024 Humanitarian Awards. We have almost a full house, which is wonderful to see. Thank you all for coming in this wet, cold, miserable evening, but a delightful evening here in Upper Town Hall. I'm going to turn the microphone over to our state representative, James Arena DeRosa, who is here with some recognition of his own. And after him, we will get started with the ceremonies.
Thank you, Tina. It's great to be with all of you. It's such an honor to represent the town of Holliston. Great to see Mark Aronian here, who initiated these awards along with the select board 6 years ago, I think. We were talking a little bit ahead of time, and it's great to see the crowd growing. Very excited to be here. I think each of the select board members who nominate are going to tell the story of why they're nominating somebody, and I will then just jump up and also hand you a citation from the House of Representatives. So we're going to be efficient with our time, but just know that you're all also being recognized by the House of Representatives. I think also we have something from the Senate as well that we have signed, so congratulations to all of you. It's kind of exciting that I know some of the people being nominated for the award, so that's kind of cool too. But it's great to be here, and I'm looking forward to hearing about what each of you have done and why the town is honoring you. And again, I will jump in as we do each person, and we'll get pictures, and I'll stick around. I'm not in any rush tonight, so it's great to be here with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, James. All right, we'll get started with the first award, Damon Dimmick, who is currently the clerk of the Select Board in his first term. Come on up, Damon.
Absolutely, thank you. All right. Well, it is an honor to be here tonight to speak about someone who I think is a great pillar of the community, Debbie Colburn. Hi there. Thank you. Debbie, would you mind standing up real quick so people can see you if they don't know your face? Thank you. Well, I took a lot of notes talking with Debbie because as I was researching her after I got a great nomination, I was finding out a lot about her background as well, and we have quite a lot in common. So much of what I heard about Debbie resonated with me personally, and I'll share a couple of quick vignettes that I took notes on. So Debbie and her husband moved to Holliston in 1992, I believe, if that's correct. And they had originally been in Natick for a while, and they were looking for a place to raise their children, and they were looking for continuity of school care. They came to Holliston because A, wonderful community, but B, it's a great place with great schools. And I think that for me resonated a lot because it's the same way that I came to this place as well. She was originally involved in computers, and upon her retirement in, I believe it was 2014, she did not slow down. She actually started to step up. She'd already been involved in the community through Boy Scouts and working with St. Mary's Parish, but when she took a few minutes after retirement, a moment, to kind of get her wits together, she realized that the best part of community is giving back. And she began to take a second journey, a second act, if you will, giving back to the community in profound and interesting ways that help build what we are here today. Hearing these little vignettes, I think it's important to point out that so much of this stuff is the stuff we take for granted in the community. It just happens, but these are things that take a lot of work and a lot of groups coming together to make them happen. These little wonderful experiences that make up what Holliston really is. So I'll just share a few, the ones that I think are really interesting. So Debbie joined the Holliston Newcomers and Neighbors Association. And for those of you who don't know, it's a wonderful organization that creates really binding relationships in the community and does a lot of interesting events like the Touch a Truck fundraiser, where children get to experience the joy of being behind the wheels of large construction vehicles, police cruisers, all kinds of trucks from around the neighborhoods, and also, of course, get to enjoy really great food from food trucks. The joy that you see in kids' faces when they get to do something simple like that, as a parent, if you know, you know. It can't be overstated. It's a wonderful experience. But more than a great experience for kids, it's a place where adults can get to know each other. You bump into neighbors, you say a kind word, you refresh a relationship that's been let go fallow for a year, and it's a lovely little thing. In addition to that, Debbie also works on the Thanksgiving basket drive. That has evolved over the years. Originally it was literally Thanksgiving baskets, now it's gift cards from what I understand. But that's something really important about that. It's not just giving, it's about dignity and making sure that when there is an important event, an important cherished moment that for all of us is taken for granted. The idea of being around a table and having a good meal, there are people who don't take that for granted, who can't take that for granted. And these little steps through H&N make sure that those families that are in need have a moment of dignity as well as pride, a time where they can come together in a way that we think is quite casual and normal, but for some people is a really stressful time. And so hearing that fills me with a lot of hope and a lot of gratitude. In addition to that, Debbie is still a member of the Holliston Historical Society, and a little vignette when they upgraded their library systems and got computers. Because of her background, she helped institute a little bit more efficiency there, which as an IT guy, I appreciate as well. But again, it's one of these things that we take for granted, but when an organization is upgrading its infrastructure, there are people who step up and do a little bit of work that others might not do. So it's another way of saying, hey, I'm gonna help the community, even in a way that most people will never understand or acknowledge, which is really wonderful. And finally, on the side, outside of H&N, a charity that I care a lot about is Project Just Because. Debbie also volunteers there. And for those who don't know, that organization is a place where Massachusetts residents can be provided very essential stuff like food, clothing, school supplies, little bits of the missing components of day-to-day life that some people cannot afford. Debbie spoke to me for a long while about that, and I wanted to point out something that I hope won't embarrass her, but she shared with me a vignette about their free grocery store, and how sometimes when they were closing up, when the doors were closed, the business was already down, people would come to the door and knock and just ask, hey, are you guys still open? And they might have been doing tactical things, but Debbie would open the door and say, sure, is there anything that you need? And these are people who were just looking for enough food to get through the week. And again, for people like us who maybe have a lot of comforts and take a lot of this stuff as just part of our normal lives, I think it's important to remember that there are folks in need who really need that helping hand. And I think in this room, we're all in good company. We're all volunteers, we're all civically active. But in the greater world, someone who stands up and says, I will help, is a rarity, and we should cherish that. So I heard a sentence once, Debbie, that I thought was very profound and made me think of you. It was told to me in the following ways, which is that the most powerful sentence in the English language actually consists of only 2-letter words. And that sentence is, if it is to be, it is up to me. A simple sentence for doing good in the world. If you see something you can help with, you just do. And that is what Debbie does. So Debbie, on behalf of Holliston and everyone here, I'd like to thank you for making this world up to you and for doing what you can. Thank you. Debbie, please feel free to share a few words if you would like. The floor is yours.
I want to thank Damon for my nomination and the select board, and I guess Mark as well for instituting this a few years ago. I also want to thank the rest of H&N. Some are sitting out here because it doesn't happen with one person. We have a great committee and members that all volunteer, and thank my family who's also here, and husband who gets dragged along sometimes when we have to set things up. But H&N is a great organization. I joined it because I wanted to give back to the community and I wanted to meet new people. My kids were grown, so how do you meet somebody new? Join an organization, and my friends are here. Thank you again.
Let's just get a quick one of the three of us. Yes.
Vice Chair for his award nominee.
Hi. So I'll start off with just a quick story. So I was in this room a few months ago for an award ceremony, another award ceremony, and someone I trust and respect very much came to me and said, I want to nominate somebody for the Humanitarian Award. And they told me to consider Karen Jewett for this distinction. So that person is Steve Bradford, who's right over there. So thank you, Steve, for your kind words there. And I did a little bit of research on Karen, which didn't take me long, to see that she is absolutely a worthy recipient of this Humanitarian Award. In fact, the biggest obstacle I had was going through all of the kind words that people had to say for her. So first I talked to Steve a little bit, and he had this to say, that as a new pantry board on for the food pantry, the board, she stepped in as a vice president, and after about 3 years, she'd be expected to become the president. During COVID, she worked with the pantry president at that time, Keely Krantz, to design and support the logistics behind the food delivery system. And that system delivered food to over 140 Holliston families a week during the pandemic. As the president of the pantry, she is leading it into a new technical level. She has the ability and compassion to deal with issues with clients and volunteers, and she spends large amounts of her time training and helping volunteers and clients on how to deal with these new systems. She's done an enormous amount for this community with her work in the food pantry to help those who are facing food insecurity. She has spent time helping that organization move ahead, leaving a lasting legacy for the food pantry that will help the next leadership team meet the needs of the community when they come forward, rather than trying to figure out how to do it. She's a leader within that organization, mentoring new members and volunteers, as well as working to reach the community to handle issues as they arise. We can see those results with frequent posts on Facebook showcasing partnerships with community members and organizations like the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and the Holliston Public Schools. And we're not done yet. She's also a member of the Holliston Drug and Alcohol Awareness Coalition, also known as HDAC. So I reached out to Jackie Weiner, she's the program director for Youth and Family Services and a member of HDAC, to get her input on the role that Karen plays there and how it has been working with her. And this is what Jackie said, and Jackie, being the positive person that she is, has some nice things to say. She said, "This was so easy to write because Karen is one of my most trusted people I have had the privilege to work with in Holliston. She's an educator at heart, and I've always appreciated leaning on her expertise. She has a way of giving advice that feels like a warm hug, supportive, thoughtful, and full of wisdom. One time, Karen went above and beyond by opening up the pantry for a family we were working with during an emergency situation. This was such an act of kindness that it really highlights her unwavering commitment to helping others no matter the time or circumstance. She was also instrumental in helping us secure the Drug-Free Communities grant, often balancing volunteer work while running the pantry and caring for her own family. She is someone you can always trust to provide support and a steady hand, even in the most challenging moments. She's had such a meaningful impact on our community, and I'd love to help showcase her incredible contributions." And as the director, Zoe Moreau from HDAC also said, "I echo everything Jackie said. One thing I can add from my own perspective and HDAC's is just how friendly and kind Karen was when I was first hired. I started as the coordinator for the coalition in May of 2023, 3 days after graduating college and transitioning from a Rhode Island-based role. Not only was local coalition work newer to me, but Holliston and the state of Massachusetts was brand new, but it never felt scary because I immediately felt so much comfort from the community, and Karen was a big part of that. Karen was in one of my interviews as well before I was even hired. I remember walking out feeling like all the faces at the table were just so lovely and positive. She was so welcoming when I started my role, and I truly cherish her friendship and admire her love of community. She really is the human equivalent of a warm hug or a ray of sunshine. Holliston is very lucky to have people like Karen who step up and contribute to the betterment of this community. And we thank you, Karen, for all that you do for Holliston to make it a better place to live, and we're grateful for your contributions every day. And it's an honor to present the Humanitarian Award from me to you this year. So thank you.
of all, thank you to the Select Board and Ben for nominating me. Congratulations, Stacy, and congratulations, Debbie. I'm so honored to be here with both of you. I feel so humbled and blessed. There's just, when I look out, there's just so many amazing giving hearts in this community, so to just be part of it is a wonderful thing. I recently read a book titled The Noticer, and it seems appropriate this evening that I share its message with you. The book highlights short stories of various struggles that people face in life. The story focuses on how someone planted a seed of perspective with each character. This seed was an offering to help people see their struggle from a different lens, with the hope of being able to move past their difficult time in life. At the pantry, we specifically serve people who are faced with food insecurity. However, through our mission of neighbors helping neighbors, it's also our hope that we're able to plant seeds of perspective throughout our community to continue to bring awareness and empathy to the many silent struggles that our neighbors face. So, special thank you to the wonderful pantry team. I know many of them are here this evening, and I just want to say that I am so blessed to work so closely with you. Nothing can be done without an amazing team. A super special thank you to my beautiful 85-year-old mother, who continues to be a constant model of doing for others. And most importantly, just a heartfelt thank you to my family and my husband for all their love and support. Dan by default, Debbie, same thing. Dan by default is a member of the board because he's dragged into everything I do. So thank you very much. I am truly blessed to be part of this, the recipients.
Before I hand out the last Humanitarian Award, I would just like to point out to folks, I should have done this earlier, but we have a Humanitarian Award plaque that we hang downstairs in the lobby. So tonight's honorees will be added to the plaque. So if you need to brag later, you certainly will have that opportunity. So for the last award, in our family, we have a term of endearment for anyone under the height of 5'8", and we call them a peanut. It's a true term of endearment, and tonight my Humanitarian Award goes to a giant among peanuts, Stacy Raffi. She has been such an influence personally for me, but that is not why I am nominating Stacy. She is a 3-term school committee member starting in 2014, serving through until 2023. She's had an enormous impact on the Holliston Public Schools through her 3 terms. What strikes me so much about Stacy's service as an elected official for the school committee is that Stacy shows up. She continues to show up, but as a school committee member, she was there for everything, truly everything. She was there for graduation, she was there for games, she was there for events, for celebrations, for recognitions. Stacy shows up, and she did so through her 3 terms, 9 years on the school committee. Stacy is from Medford. She's from the city of Medford. And one might ask, how are we so lucky as to have someone like Stacy here in Holliston? She started her move west, I believe, by going to Framingham State University. And I bring that up because what I know of Stacy as a personal friend of hers is that she brings people to her. I know her today to have a loyal group of friends from her days at Framingham State University, and we're all so glad here in Holliston, just 1.5 towns over really, that Stacy came to Framingham State, because I believe that's through that experience that she met her wonderful husband, Eric, who's from Ashland. And I think Ashland owned Stacy for just a little bit of time before they moved to Holliston. So again, we lucked out when they left Ashland to come to live in Holliston to raise their very handsome young family here in our community. Stacy gives beyond anyone I've met as an elected official, as an appointed official, as someone of my peer group. Stacy is a member of Celebrate Holliston and has been for many, many years. I actually didn't look up to see how many years, but I'm going to say over 10, probably since the day she arrived in Holliston. Stacy you will see at every Celebrate Holliston event, and she's not just there because she's a member of Celebrate Holliston. She is more than likely there because she organized more than half of it. Stacy is a member of the Holliston PTO. So when it comes to fundraising for one of our most important institutions here in the town of Holliston, which is our public schools, Stacy delivers time and time again, and she does so with a smile. She shows up, she puts forth a tremendous effort, she gives generously, and she cares for others. Stacy is an appointed member of 2 committees here in Holliston. She's on the Envision Future Holliston Committee, and she's on the Traffic Advisory Committee. And I raise those 2 as important points to Stacy's character. She is that rare combination of both intellect, but also roll up your sleeves and get the work done. When it came to Envision Future Holliston, Stacy had a very clear vision of what Holliston needed to consider in terms of a strategic plan for the next 5 years, and she was vocal. And she was strong in her vision and her ideas. And we need people like that. And always with the good of the community, the good of others at heart. You likely know if you've disagreed with Stacy. She's strong in her thoughts, she's strong in her opinions, but more than likely, you've received some unsolicited act of kindness or gift from Stacy, because that's what she does. She puts others first. On the Traffic Advisory Committee, that can be a chore, to listen to some of these challenges and issues in the town of Holliston, and there Stacy is strong again. She's clear in what she thinks, she's honest in her opinions and what she thinks is the right decision to make, and I think she adds value to all of those conversations. Again, can't say enough about her intellect. She's smart, she knows what the town of Holliston needs, she's clear in communicating it, and she's consistent. She is always there, signing up, showing up, and giving to others. So I'm very proud to present Stacy with the Humanitarian Award this evening.
Peanut needs a taller mic, a shorter mic. Thank you. First of all, it's an honor to be honored with 2 women. Debbie, I can't believe that we have not crossed paths, but we will. I'm sure we will. Congratulations. And Karen, congratulations. It's been a pleasure to be able to cross paths with you. Thank you so much for this honor. And really, the honor also has to go to my husband because, man, he had to drag the kids along or just let me do my thing. Most recently, it sort of sums up how it's been over the past 18 years. I was Mrs. Claus for the stroll, and Brian took a picture for me, and he's like, "Dad, why is Mom dressing up like this?" Eric's like, "I don't even ask anymore. I just say yes and go and let me do my thing." So friendship and community are so important to me, and it takes a village. So thank you to my village, and I hope that my children learn the way I learned from watching my own family, starting with my grandparents, to my parents, my aunt and uncle, who really showed us it's not about you, it's about others. So thank you all.
All right, so that concludes Stacy. That concludes the awards ceremony this evening. However, we have some very light refreshments over there for everyone to enjoy. The Select Board has a posted meeting that we will eventually trickle downstairs to start, but we welcome you to stay, to talk, to build community here in this room, but also to take photographs and enjoy some cookies and some drinks over there. So thank you all for coming, and have a wonderful holiday season, and it's nice to see you all.